I'm Clark Speaks, the catastrophic injury lawyer. Welcome to The Verdict. This is Catastrophic Comeback. So I have this aunt, and she was the person who was the fun person in the family. Uh, we always had special holidays at her house. We had Christmas at her house. We had um, Thanksgiving at her house. She would make everything so fun. You'd walk in and there'd be music playing and unbelievable decorations. And she was the glue that kept our family together. And that's what we did for vacations, right?
Mhm.
We didn't go to Europe or whatever. We went to see my aunt, to visit my aunt or my grandmother. And she was always so instrumental in bringing everyone together. And she was such a big part of our family. And then like 10 years ago, she dies of breast cancer very quickly, very suddenly. There was just nothing anybody could do. And I'm just like, this is just wrong. This is not the way this is supposed to. And I'm an optimist. I'm always like, hey, things are going to get better. And I just couldn't I'm like, it wasn't my mother, but I was really close to her. And I'm thinking, God, where are you in this? But when you describe your vision of how all this works together, and how really to look at it as like, okay, this life was cut short, that seems like it's short-sighted in your view, that actually the human experience, and for Christians is actually much longer, and it can be just a more fulfilling experience if you look at it like that.
I think about just go back on, and I always talk about my mother. So one of 9 kids in a one-lane town, born in the 1940s, dealing with World War II, growing up in a segregated society, could only go to a historically black university, could not apply. Well, possibly could apply, but would know that she would be denied admission at a predominantly white institution. To then raise 2 kids and one who becomes a vice president at a predominantly white institution. And maybe one of those institutions could have been one that would not allow her to attend. To me, there's nothing but faith. As a kid, she always talked about, because we're from Texas, she wanted to go to Texas Tech, but she knew in 1962, Texas Tech would not allow black kids to enroll. But to know that she has a son that could one day be a vice president, or maybe at this point, a president of a school that would have denied her admission solely because of her race, I just can't explain that. My dissertation, I looked at African American women who went to grad school on state aid acts, and these are women who wanted to seek graduate education, usually in their home state. But the state said, rather than to integrate these schools, we will pay for you to go to school that will offer you admission. And so these are people who ended up getting degrees from Columbia and Yale, Indiana, institutions that would allow black people admission. And so one of my subjects was a state delegate, Flora Crittenden, who ended up becoming a state delegate to pass legislation against a state that would not allow her to enroll in graduate education. That to me just doesn't happen. Like I am ambitious and I went to school and I got the degree and I've done everything I need to do. I've tried to do the professional development. I've tried to treat people right. But for things to just align the way that they've aligned, I just don't think that that simply happens. And I could be wrong and you can call me foolish or whatever you want to. I just believe that there is someone somewhere working, supporting, helping the stars to align.
So you've mentioned throughout your talk today about your passion for helping others, whether they're students, whether they're your friends and family that you've described, whether they're students that you don't even know yet,
Mhm.
that might come behind you at an institution that you are currently leaving. So, how does your faith play a part in reaching out and helping others that you know, and in some cases that you don't even know?
So, you grow up in church and your parents make you go even when you don't want to go. And I don't honestly, I didn't even understand. Like I just went and you say, okay, I guess I should get baptized. Just I didn't understand. And then probably when I got to college, it kind of flipped a little bit. Because as a teenager, I didn't think my parents knew anything. They didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Like I knew everything. And then when I got to college, I started to realize, like, wait, I think they do know what they're talking about. And I think this church thing is actually real. Like there's something to it. There was a kid, I went to John 23rd Catholic School in Dallas as a small kid. I don't even think the school's still around. And my mother was a teacher at Harry Stone Middle School. And there was a kid that would walk from the area of John 23rd to Harry Stone. And she would take him to school because that was probably, thinking about it, 4 miles. Like it was far. And he was murdered in the early 1980s. I'm really aging myself now. But I was a kid. Maybe I'm not even sure I mean, 5 or 6, was young. And my mother not only went to the funeral, she, as we say, a phrase in kind of our community, she pressed some money in his mother's hand and wrote our home phone number because cell phones were not the thing then, and said, "Whatever you need, let me know." School teacher who at that time maybe making what, $20,000 a year? Like this is like I don't know what the
Mhm.
salaries were then, but it most definitely was not a lot of money. But took what she had to give to someone else. And you don't realize that stuff when you're 5 or 6. But as you get older, you reflect on those things of I went to school and there were students who had to stand in the line for financial aid. I didn't have to do that. My mother worked 3 jobs so I wouldn't have to stand in line. Like you just what? Where else does that happen? So it's my things just kind of aligned, and my I saw her pour so much into other people. I've decided to do the same thing. I'm a licensed foster parent in the state of North Carolina. Just always had a desire to want to give back. And I would say that I give back unapologetically, regardless of your race, your gender, your sexual orientation. I don't care. I just want to help someone. I if I can make a difference in your life, and whether that's through advice, whether that's whatever it is, I want to try to do it.
Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Davis. Thank you for sharing this with us. I really appreciate it, and I think it's going to be very beneficial to the people who listen to it.
All right.
So, Dr. Davis, thank you again for being here.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us to stay up to date with our weekly episodes. We'll see you next time.